Good morning, guys. Good morning. A very pleasant morning to everybody. It is Tuesday, December 5th, December 5th, the 5th of December, however you say. It is Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday of December, and we are rolling down to Christmas. And we're rolling down to the end of the year. I want to say a very pleasant morning to everybody. Thank you all so much for stopping by. You all know that this morning at this time, I usually pop up to do the Bible reading. Now, let me just preface with this, my dear people. I do not, and I tell you, I do not endorse any particular religion or any particular denomination on my channel. What I do, what I do is read the Bible. Read the Bible with an open mind. I try my best to abandon, ignore, stay away from what I have been taught all my life. It's kind of hard though, to be honest with you guys. It is kind of hard because after you have learned something, you have been taught something, it's kind of hard to just abandon it and take on a new set of belief system. But putting that aside, we are still going on. I'm trying to read the Bible objectively from beginning to end. And on that journey, I've decided to share it with you because, after all, the Bible is very influential in just about every aspect of our lives. But some of us just can't be bothered, you know? Like, the Bible too big and thick, yeah, man. The Bible, when I start go on and just believe whatever the Bible said, but I have no time to read it and find out for myself. I don't want to have to question it because you see, they have already conditioned you into believing that if you ever dare to ask a question about any of the Bible's content, you're going to blaspheme, you're going to burn in hell, God going to turn him back on you, you're going to become broke, you're going to become homeless. Yeah, they have conditioned you to believe that nonsense. And so people are deathly afraid of, even if they come across a discrepancy in the Bible, right, Malkesia Ben Recab? Even if they come across a discrepancy, they don't want to ask anything. They are so afraid. And you know, that's what the preachers want, you know. They want you to be afraid to ask any questions. Because the more afraid you are, the more money they get. Uh-huh. So you So you will always be the one going to church and throwing all your money in the basket. And money cannot buy your way into your proverbial heaven that they keep stuffing down your throat to tell you that you got to do this because you're going to go to heaven. You're going to go someplace where, I don't know, milk and honey running on the road, or you're going to be kissing lions and, you know, riding donkey and I don't know. I don't know. They paint this picture of this heaven and then they tell you, or you're going to burn in this hell where fire go and burn you all day long. I ain't nobody want to be burnt in fire. But unless that is the way you die, where you die in a fire of some sort, live your life, live it well. Be kind to one another. And you don't need no Bible to tell you what kindness entails. Because if there was no Bible to tell you that you should be kind, by your own experiences, you would know that if you hit somebody, if you cut somebody, if you shot somebody, you would know that that cannot be a good thing to do. You don't need a Bible tell you that. You don't need a Bible tell you if you got 3 kids in the room and one is your biological child and the other 2 are not your children, and you give your biological child a candy and you don't give the other 2. You don't need a Bible to tell you, say, that look ugly, that's dirty, that's unkind, that's mean. You see the effects of your actions, and that should tell you that it's wrong, that there's something about it. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to be affiliated to any religion at all. Nature has given us this innate thing called conscience, that you don't need nobody to tell you when you have done something wrong. But since we all seem like we need somebody to tell us when we are wrong, it seems like that is something that we all look forward to. We need to be told. Not sure why, but it seems like it. Then if you are told, then you must obey, right? El gato negro. Oh, why you say, where is a black cat come from now? El gato negro. Buenos días, mi amor. All right. PT. Marquisha, good morning. How are you doing? Good to see you, my love. Enablet, how are you doing, Breno? How are you doing? Good morning, guys. So with all that I just said just now, I'm on a quest to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. Those of you who are just joining me, just discovering my channel, whatever the case may be, you are a little bit behind because we started about 2 years ago from the book of Genesis. Now we are onto the book of Jeremiah. And so far, guys, I must tell you, Jeremiah is one of the most fascinating books that I have read in the Bible. And because of that, I'm going to read Jeremiah again, even before I move on to Lamentation. I have to go back and read the book of Jeremiah for us, because I just think that there's just so much. There's just so much in there that we can't just read it one time and pass over it. And because all my life growing up, and even now, I hear people keep saying, oh, Jeremiah is one of the greatest prophets. Oh, Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah is such a good. My dearest mother. Oh my God. There are not enough words. Jeremiah was such a good prophet. Everybody keeps saying that. So this has brought me to thinking, is it that I am reading it differently? Or have people read the book but not understood? Has no one ever stopped to question Jeremiah's motives? I don't mind standing out. I don't mind being the only one to think that Jeremiah was a crook. I don't mind. Because so far what I have read has led me to believe that Jeremiah was a crook. That Jeremiah contributed to the destruction of Israel based on his quote-unquote prophecies. There were no prophecies. Jeremiah wasn't prophesying nothing. Jeremiah was undercover, working for Nebuchadnezzar and plotting against the Jewish people and telling the people what he was telling the people was essentially leading them astray, causing them to act against themselves without even knowing it. Just the same way, for those of you who have read the Bible, just the same way as Shemaiah the prophet had done back in the days of Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. Some of you may not know that story. But you might want to either go back, listen to me I talk about that story all the time, because that story of Rehoboam and how he had consulted with Shemaiah when the Syrians and the Arabians came up to destroy Jerusalem. He had consulted with Shemaiah the prophet to find out what is to ask him to consult with the Lord for them and find out if it was a good time for them to go up to fight against the invaders. And Shemaiah told them, he spoke to the Lord, and the Lord said they should not go up to fight against the invaders. And so, poor Rehoboam, believing in the prophet, because if you read the Bible, all these the Jewish people, they revere their prophets, and there were hundreds of prophets, always hundreds of prophets, claiming that they talk with God, they dream this, God dreamed them this, they always, and the people always trusted and believed them. The people them not questioning these people. Like, how did you become a prophet? You just get one dream and wake up one morning and claim that God tell you, say you are a prophet and he is going to be communicating with you on behalf of the Jewish people, and the people them just accept them with open arms and constantly request for them to consult the Lord for the masses, only to be deceived. Because every time Rehoboam asked Shemaiah to ask God whether it was the right time for him to fight, to retain the dignity of the Jewish people, Shemaiah told him God said no, he was not to fight. And to that end, Rehoboam didn't fight because he didn't want to go against what God said. And to that end, the Jewish people, Paul, what's up? The Jewish people lost their dynasty and their position of power and authority in the region. And see it now, I fight them after I fight to get it back. You understand? They lost it all because they believed in what the prophets were telling them that God said. Don't fight. No, man, be peaceful. Don't fight. All that time, those made up false prophets were getting paid under the quiet to advise the Jewish kings falsely. And that is why in the reading yesterday, for those of you who were here yesterday, in the reading yesterday, you saw where the remnants of the Jewish people who were left in Israel after Nebuchadnezzar had come up and after Ishmael had come in and slain a lot of people, those people were very angry with Jeremiah. They were very angry with him because they were convinced now that all he was doing was misleading them. And they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. When the people asked him to ask God whether or not it was okay for them to go to Egypt, because Egypt was at this time a peaceful place. They wanted to know whether or not it was okay for them to go to Egypt. So they consulted, as was their custom, they consulted with Jeremiah. Should we go? Should we stay? And as is expected, Jeremiah, who never had anything good, no good prophecy for the Jewish people, he said, the Lord told him that if they go, he's going to slay them by the sword, by famine, by pestilence. If they stay, he's going to slay them by the sword, by famine, by pestilence. The people say, get out of here. We ain't got nothing to do with you, Jeremiah. We're kind of sick and tired of you right now. And remember, that was the same thing that King Jehoiakim had said to Jeremiah. Them just sick and tired of all his negative prophecies towards the people. So these people say, leave us alone. Because before you came here, we were living in peace. We were worshiping our Queen of Heaven. We were baking cakes for our Queen of Heaven, and we were at peace. Now the people started to question their loyalty to their Jewish God. Like, we are living here in peace, worshiping a Queen of Heaven, baking cakes, having our lives, nobody bothering us. We're living in peace. We ain't bother nobody bother us. We're burning incense to our Queen of Heaven, doing what we do. Now here you come, and you claim to be a representative of our God for us on our behalf. But all you bring with you is death and destruction. All you bring with you is death and destruction. Well, here what? You leave us alone and go away with your death and your destruction, and make us continue to worship this Queen of Heaven. Do you see the logic in that, guys? Yes, lots of logic in that. Because the people were now fed up and tired of Jeremiah. And for those of you who don't know, go on back and read the book of Jeremiah, because Jeremiah, I have declared, from I started reading the book of Jeremiah, I declared that Jeremiah is a crook. And when I saw how he predicted that the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, was going to come up and defeat the Jewish people and break down Jerusalem, he was there when it happened. But did Nebuchadnezzar slay him? No. Nebuchadnezzar appointed a new governor in Gedaliah and told Gedaliah to give Jeremiah whatever Jeremiah wanted. They gave Jeremiah lots of rewards and stuff. Why would the enemy king reward Jeremiah if Jeremiah wasn't working for him? If he hadn't gotten anything from Jeremiah, why would he be rewarding Jeremiah? Think about it, my friends. I don't have a lot of time this morning, so we are going to move right along into continuing the reading of the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48. So, without further ado, get your book Bible or your Google Bible, whichever one you have at hand, and let us read. Jeremiah chapter 48. Against Moab, thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kiriathaim is confounded and taken. Misgab is confounded and dismayed. There shall be no more praise of Moab. In Heshbon they have devised evil against me. Verse 2. Let's read verse 2 again. There shall be no more praise of Moab. In Heshbon they have devised evil against it. Come, and let us cut it off from being a nation. Also, thou shalt be cut down, O madman. The sword shall pursue thee. A voice of crying shall be from Horonaim, spoiling and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. For in the going up of Luhith, continual weeping shall go up. For in the going down of Horonaim, the enemies have heard a cry of destruction. Verse 6 says, Flee, save your lives, and be like the heath in the wilderness. For because thou hast trusted in thy works and in thy treasures, thou shalt also be taken. And Shemosh shall go forth into captivity with his priests and his princes together. And the spoiler shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as the Lord hath spoken. You know why the people can't talk to the Lord themselves? They gotta wait for Jeremiah to speak for them. Give wings unto Moab, that it may flee and get away, for the cities thereof shall be desolate. without any to dwell therein. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. I wonder if Jeremiah hear that. And cursed be he that keeps back his sword from blood. Huh? Wanna hear that? I'm gonna read that again. Verse 10 of Jeremiah chapter 48 says, Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. Cursed be he that keeps back his sword from blood. So if you not decide to slay people with your sword, you are cursed. I know the same Bible this that is supposed to be encouraging love and peace. You hear any love and peace being encouraged? No be a war, death and destruction. That's all Jeremiah preaching. That's all Jeremiah encouraging. But this chapter 48 verse 10 here is very questionable. You're going to be cursed if you keep your sword from blood. Guys, and me say it. Verse 10 of chapter 48 says, Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keeps back his sword from blood. Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and he hath settled on his lease, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel. Neither hath he done into captivity, neither hath he gone, pardon me, neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remain in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send unto him wanderers, that shall cause him to wander, and shall empty his vessels and break their bottles. Verse 13. And Moab shall be ashamed of Shemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel their confidence. How shall he? We are mighty and strong men for war. Moab is spoiled and gone up out of her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, said the king, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Verse 16. Morning, guys. Verse 16 of Jeremiah chapter 48. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. All ye that are about him bemoan him, and all he that know his name say, How is the strong staff broken, and the beautiful rod? Thou daughter that dost inhabit Dibon, come down from thy glory, and sit in thirst, for the spoiler of Moab shall come upon thee, and he shall destroy thy strongholds. O inhabitant of Aurora, stand by the way and spy. Ask him that flee, and her that escape, and say, What is done? Moab is confounded, for it is broken down. Howl and cry. Tell ye in the Arnon that Moab is spoiled. And judgment is come upon the plain country, upon Holon, and upon Jahaza, and upon Mephath, and upon Dibon, and upon Nebo, and upon Beth Diblathaim, and upon Kiriathaim, and upon Beth Gamul, and upon Beth Meon. You see, everywhere, everywhere where the people have settled and tried to find peace, Jeremiah is preaching pure destruction. Verse 24, and upon Kerioth, and upon Bozrah, and upon all the cities of the land of Moab, far and near. Destruction, Jeremiah preaching. Verse 25, the horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, saith the Lord. Everything Jeremiah said, the Lord said. Make he him drunken, for he magnified himself against the Lord. Moab also shall wallow in his own vomit, and he also shall be in derision. For was not Israel a derision unto thee? Was he found among thieves? For since thou spake of him, thou skip the joy. Thou skip for joy. Pardon me, guys. Let me read that again. For was not Israel a derision unto thee? Was he found among thieves? For since thou speakest of him, thou skippest for joy. You know the Bible used that est to conjugate the words. Thou skippest for joy. Verse 28. Ho he that dwell in Moab. Now for those of you who don't know where are not familiar with the word Moab in the Bible. Now Moab was one of those sons. Moab was one of those sons that Lot had with one of his daughters. Right? So that's where you get the Moabites from, the descendants of those that were born to the son. Because remember, Lot's two daughters, each one had a son for him. So one of the sons' name was Moab. And that's the same one that the Jewish people said their God told them they shouldn't mix and mingle with the Moabites. They should not get together with them to have children for how many generations. I guess until the stain of the incest. I guess until the stain of the incest has been washed away or adequately diluted. Yes. So that's where this Moab comes from. Verse 28. Ho ye that dwell in Moab, leave the cities, and dwell in the rock, and be like the dove that makes her nest in the sides of the hole's mouth. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceedingly proud. His loftiness and his arrogance, and his pride, and his haughtiness in his heart. I know his wrath, saith the Lord, but it shall not be so. His lies shall not so affect it. Therefore will I howl for Moab, and I will cry out for all Moab. My heart shall mourn for the men of Kirheres. O vine of Sibnah, I will weep for thee with the weeping of Jazer. Thy plants are gone over the sea. They reach even to the sea of Jazer. The spoiler is fallen upon thy summer fruits and upon thy vintage. And joy and gladness is taken from the plentiful field and from the land of Moab. And I have caused wine to fall from the winepresses. None shall tread with shouting. Their shouting shall be no shouting. Whatever that means. Their shouting shall be no shouting. Verse 34. From the cry of Heshbon, even unto Elealeh, and even unto Jahaz, have they uttered their voice. From Zoar, even unto Horonaim, as an ephah of 3 years old. For the waters also of Nimrim shall be desolate. Moreover, I will cause, moreover, I will cause to cease. Hold on. Why is this thing doing this? Okay. Moreover, I will cause to cease in Moab, saith the Lord, him that offers in the high places, and him that burns incense to his gods. Therefore, mine heart shall sound for Moab like pipes, and my heart shall sound like pipes for the men of Kirheres, because the riches that he hath gotten are perished. For every head shall be bald, and every beard clipped. Upon all the hands shall be cuttings, and upon the loins sackcloth. There shall be lamentation generally upon all the housetops of Moab, and in the streets thereof. For I have broken Moab like a vessel wherein is no pleasure, saith the Lord. When we want to understand, say Jeremiah said the Lord tell him this, All right, I want you to understand that all of this that I'm reading right now is what Jeremiah said the Lord has told him. All right. So I guess his wrath is now directed at the Moabites. Verse 39, they shall howl, saying, how is it broken down? How hath Moab turned the back with shame? So shall Moab be a derision and a dismaying to all them that are round about him. For thus saith the Lord, behold, he shall fly as an eagle, and shall spread his wings over Moab. Kerioth is taken, and the strongholds are surprised, and the mighty men's hearts in Moab at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. And when the Bible talks of a woman in her pangs, it means a woman that is in labor, about to give birth. Verse 42, and Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he hath magnified himself against the Lord. Fair and the pit and the snare shall be upon thee, O inhabitants of Moab, saith the Lord. He that fleeth from the fair shall fall into a pit, and he that gets up out of the pit shall be taken in the snare, for I will bring upon it, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. Jeremiah said this, but him said the Lord tell him this. Okay? They that fled stood upon the shadow of Heshbon because of the force. But a fire shall come forth out of Heshbon, and a flame from the midst of Sion, and shall devour the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Woe be unto thee, O Moab! The people of Shemosh perisheth, for thy sons are taken captives, and thy daughters captives. Yet will I bring again the captivity of Moab in the latter days, saith the Lord. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. Here ends the reading of Jeremiah chapter 48. And in this chapter, there isn't even much explanation to be had, because this chapter is basically talking about the destruction of Moab. That's what Jeremiah is preaching in that chapter. The pending destruction of Moab, because Moab has apparently, according to Jeremiah, claimed to be his own God or bigger than God, whatever the case may be. But he claimed that Moab has elevated himself highly amongst the people. And so, according to Jeremiah, the Lord is going to spread wings over Moab like an eagle and destroy everybody and everything. And if they run to the mountains, he's going to destroy them there. And if they run to the water is going to, wherever they go, he's going to destroy them there. That is Jeremiah's sermon for the Moabites. You see, he was very successful in causing the destruction of the Jewish people. So now that that great slaughter has occurred, and a lot of the Jewish people have been either taken captive or been slaughtered, Jeremiah have to move on to somewhere else. So now his eyes are set on the Moabites. It's their turn to face the wrath of Jeremiah's predictions of their destruction. All right, when we come back tomorrow morning, we will continue with the reading of the Bible. Guys, those of you who are just coming, I read the Bible on my channel, Trevessence Unstoppable, every morning. Every morning. We have been doing this for like 2 years, where we are reading the Bible and trying to understand it for ourselves. We don't know, and you don't know, because none of us was there. But we are trying to understand what's written in the Bible for ourselves rather than being told what is in the Bible. Because the majority of us, we will preach, we will catch people, baptize them, condemn them using the same Bible, but we ourselves have never read it. We are very selective in the parts of the Bible that we choose to read, choose to believe. So far, in me reading the Bible from Genesis to Jeremiah right now, the Bible, first of all, the Bible is written from a Jewish perspective. It's all Jewish writings. It's all Jewish priests and prophets and whoever else. All the writings belongs to the Jewish people. So we don't know, we don't have any documentation in the Bible about what was happening to the rest of the world, what the rest of the people were doing, except they said that the rest of the people were serving a false god. They were serving gods that were made out of wood and gold and silver and diamond and whatever. They were worshiping gods that they fashioned just so that they could have something to pray to. And we all know their story. If we should just believe the Bible, we don't know their story. What was their belief system? You know, what were their traditions, except their religious traditions of praying to a God that was made out of stone? What were their customs? Did they do the same things? Hey, Latasha, did they do the same things that the Jewish people did? We don't know. We don't know. But we read the Bible because it's what was presented to us. So that was what has drawn me to reading this Bible. If we had been given a different book, I would be reading a different book. But this is what was presented to me. So this is what I read. All right. So guys, join me again tomorrow morning, just around this time, at the same place, when we will continue with the reading of the Bible. All right. And that's going to be it from me for this morning. That's where we're going to end this morning. I want to say thanks to everybody who came into the live. Thanks for the loves and the likes. I sincerely appreciate you all. Now, guys, while I go off to work now, you all go ahead and have yourself your best day yet. Until next time, my friends, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a great day, everybody.